So many candles, and still I'd wish there was but one present on my list. Because I knew if I was given this, there'd be nothing left I'd missed. To be understood would be bliss, what I would give or I would risk. To be found out and accepted as is, then I'd live and not only exist. Now it's sliced and onto the dish, and wicks once aglow now wisps. I know and am known and kissed by my fate, and I know her as Chris. Capital F in fate, incidentally. It said that something should be taken from every person that comes in and out of your life. You know, you look for the positives in every relationship that you strike up of any kind, relationship of any kind. Yes, I am grateful for that chapter of my life. That removed a very large laying in bed thinking of things that might have been, because it was no longer might have been. It became and is now a was. Woo! English language, that is nice. And I'm stoned as shit too. That's what probably gave me the courage to recite the poem. I'm really tired, but I've been slamming, what is it my wingman says? I'm thrashing back there in the shop for these jewelry stores. There are no watchmakers left. So I've been in there this morning, like 3:30, 4 o'clock, thrashing. Then I come out and I put the chess computer away. I put this thing away with no take backs on its highest setting. I just put it away. I made a beautiful rook takes knight sacrifice. That's all I need to say. I can't mate it though. I can't get it into a mating net. It will fight. AI defends so brilliantly. That's why you have to attack. You have to try to get the initiative, gain equality, and look for any initiative. Because the moment you find yourself on the defensive against a good AI, you're done. You're done. No, you're done. I don't care. You're Magnus Carlsen. He's the current reigning chess champion. And I think he's bad enough to admit it. It's like, yeah, if you're on the defense against an AI, an engine, you're done. Because you got to remember, this thing can see every possible move you can make. Every move it wants to make back, or maybe not. Every second move it wants to make back. Or what's the third line it might play back to your move in the time it takes you to see its move with your eyes by the time the signal gets from your eyes to your brain. It's already calculated all of that. So it is harder to defend than to attack. What I'm saying is you want this Terminator Skynet bastard answering your beck and call. If you can achieve that against an AI, you should be able to fight for a draw. Because you limit its choices. Oh my goodness gracious me, oh my. I have enjoyed playing the last few months. I've been playing this thing a lot. Now that I'm retired, I can work at my own pace and do what I want. I've noticed a few changes I'm happy about. Yeah, this Australian officer. The Boer Wars. I'm ignorant as heck. The Transvaal, an area of South Africa. It was the Dutch / German slash Dutch, British, leaning on the Aussies, the Australians, leaning on them for their military service to the Queen, is my take on it. And there were other factions, both local and other people. Diamonds. I want to say it was diamonds. There's something there. Late 19th century. The Boer Wars. Anyway, and I believe this movie that I watched, it's called Breaker Morant. He used to break horses. Breaker Morant. Oh, forgive me, I've forgotten his first name. And he's a poet. Or was a poet. Is a poet. He performs his duties to the best of his ability as an Aussie. Let's face it, gang, as a penal colony colonist serving the Queen. That's for you, Boyda. You'll never hear this track, probably. And in the carrying out of his duties, in what he thought was an effective decision-making process, left to his own devices on the field. This isn't, 2020. This is, well, I don't know, what is this, 1890 something or something like that? No, you're out there on the field. You have to make those calls. And I ain't talking cell phone. So he made a couple of calls and found himself in a military court, because somebody had to pay for the political unrest he had caused by performing the duties of his job to the Queen. Or King, excuse me. I guess. Circa. Pick one. He gonna pay for that. Because you see, it's all about money. Diamonds or whatever it is in there. And there's a couple of countries, 2 or 3 of them, not even including the people that it belongs to, by the way, who are being pillaged, by the way, by the white man, by the way. Blood pressure. He gonna pay for performing the duties of his job. They give him no defense. It's a military court. They give him some, forgive me, Darren, I love you. They give him some Chautauqua kid, contract lawyer. It's a murder trial. One of the best scenes in there, and you can YouTube it. Oh, there are some good scenes. And when he's queried by the prick, the colonel, the head of the tribunal, the one who it's fallen to be Pontius Pilate in this case, but not allowed to wash his hands of it. And the colonel looks at Breaker Morant and he says, "What rules of engagement did you observe while in the field?" And I think there's something leading up to that. Breaker Morant says, "We fought the Boer." I guess that would be the Dutch. "We fought the Boers, the Boer fought us." In other words, he was saying to the court, the Boer fought in a non-fashionable, guerrilla warfare. And so Brigham Rand said, tit for tat. It was when he shot the German priest who he knew. He had proof positive. At least in his mind and his heart, as a field marshal, because that's what he is. I forget his rank, but he's a field marshal. He's top dog out there. So he picks the guy off with one of his buddies who's a very good shot. Probably an infield. Yes, of course it was. And you'll see why in a minute. And so I'll summate now. Can I summate yet? Now. I marvel at this man because in the end he's executed. And before the execution, now I don't know if this is, I gotta believe it's real. It can be verified. It's supposed to be based on this guy, this true story, right? While they're in the brig going through their kangaroo court trial over the several days, they're attacked by the Boers, by the Dutch. The English/Australian forces are attacked. Their fort is, under heavy fire, to the point where they release all of the prisoners and tell them to man their stations. Now, Brigham Rand and his buddy, who also loses his life at the end, are sitting there. I want to say they're on a pod, on a machine gun. They get this thing set up, and they're starting to really make a difference, and they are able to repel the attack. He was then led back into his cell. The trial continued. It didn't matter how brilliantly this lawyer, whom I'm sure mine could too, do just as well. It didn't matter how brilliantly this lawyer defended. It didn't matter. This man was going to be found guilty because when he shot, he had that German priest shot who he was certain was a spy. He ruffled political feathers. He ruffled people's wallets. There it is. He ruffled people's purse strings. Money. Not because some priest, German priest, was shot. It's because he disturbed some people's wallets. They were subsequently found guilty, the both of them. The boy was spared. There was also a boy entangled in this political mess. The boy was spared. His death sentence was commuted. This is all based on a true story. And after 2 or 3 years, they quietly let the young man out. I guess they figured they had appeased the Dutch and the Germans enough by having both Brigham Rand and his friend Harry. No, Harry Morant is his name. And his buddy. You want to talk about it? Hey, you women that are listening, if any, you should check it out because his buddy's got a handlebar mustache. You'll want him. You'll want him. And you should do it right in front of your husband while y'all are looking at the iPad, and you'll get that glazed look on your face, and you'll start to drool out of your mouth. Trust me. Yeah. Who knows? You might start something for the evening. You know how that works. Yeah, I caught Cindy looking at Jay Novacek that day. And she's hail to the Redskins. She's a Redskin, born in Annapolis. But when she was watching little Jay Novacek, little Jay Novacek running up the field with the football and his little blue silver tight, ballet tight, spandex pants on. I came to the kid in the living room to find her just like hypnotized. Yeah. Sorry, side shot. What was I going to summate with? What was I talking about? Help me. So after he performs his duties and he's found guilty in this monkey trial, he is shot in a very terribly, terribly British fashion at dawn, you know. Oh, and the offering of a blindfold and all. Oh, how righteous. Now, only hours earlier, he and his buddy had really turned the tide of that attack on their encampment, their fort. If they hadn't gotten to that tripod, it would have probably gone the other way. Absolutely the other way. Because the Boers came for blood. Apparently, the way they were attacking. And this man performed his duties to the very end. He saw, I would imagine Harry could also look outside the box and see everything for as it is. And this man wrote poetry on the evening of his execution. Oh, Lord, help me pull a couple of the lines. For heaven's sake, don't shoot him. That's the only line I can pull. For heaven's sake, don't shoot him. Referring to the Boer that they had to shoot on the open field. You're not taking any prisoners out there. I'd like to think that I'm a little bit like Harry. Just a little bit. No, in fact, as I look at the character, Harry, Breaker Moran, except for the horse shit part, I guess I could have been a Bronco Buster. But I guess it's really better to be a Philly Buster, isn't it? Yeah. And on that note, love you.